How to fix fault on Vaillant Ecotec Plus 832. In this instance, I have a fault on my boiler. Fault code is F.29, operating failure, ignition unsuccessful. So it's clearly something wrong with the ignition, and that's not allowing the gas to combust and ignite. So firstly, I'll take the cover off. You can loosen the screw at the bottom and lift it from the bottom and then lift it up. So now I have the cover off the boiler. So first things first, I turn it off from the boiler and turn it off from the fuse spur. It's also recommended to remove the fuse out of the boiler. The boiler is now isolated, so if I try to turn it on, there'll be no LED display showing, so I turn it off. So firstly, pull this PCB down. So these are all the components on a combination boiler, and the ignition probe is this component here. So firstly, I will pull this off, this black. So there we go, as you can see, that's come off. And this is the ignition probe. So what I have is some wire wool, and I will start scrubbing off all of the calcium build up on the probes, and if it's rusted and dirty, you want to get it all off so it's bare metal as on the top here. So you want that on the tip here where it does ignite. So with that scale build up, it's not giving the continuity when it does ignite for it to send the signal to the gas valve for it to open. So I will now clean this thoroughly. Make sure you give it a proper clean, so very thorough. Scrub it all the way around, and it's not just a 2-minute job, you know, scrub it properly for a good 10ish minutes to get around all the circumference of the probe, of each of these probes. So yeah, take your time with it, make sure everything's off, and you want it actually feeling like the top where it's not been touched. I've only got wire wool available, but you can also get the strips, so that can make it easier to just scrub around, and you know, you can actually cut off a strip and tug and pull. There we have it, nice and clean, and we shall attempt to put this back in. So you've got to be really careful, try not to touch the edges, otherwise you might get some deposit on the end of the probe. And then what you want to do is put the screws back in, just make sure they're tight. Yeah. There we go. And then push the cable back in to the probe. I'm just going to push it, just hear a bit of a click. And that's that. Let's test the boiler. There we have it, cleaned and reinstalled. I'll turn the boiler back on. So I'll turn that off first. Turn the fuse spur on. It's okay, and on. Turn the boiler on. So it'll probably still be showing with a fault. So what you need to do is reset. I press it down for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's just calibrating. Excellent. So let's test the hot water. Following cleaning the probe heads, we've realized it's not the ignition probe, so I've decided to do a bit more further investigation. So firstly, I've put a test manometer gauge on the gas valve to check if the gas valve is passing gas for it to ignite in the combustion chamber. Unfortunately, that's not the case. It seems that the gas isn't flowing through, so it's just holding at the pressure recommended by the manufacturer. So when you do call for demand, this should drop, and to show that there should be a pressure drop to show that the gas is passing through the gas valve. So I've also been on the phone to the manufacturer, and I've tested with the multimeter as per the instructions to check continuity on these cables here. So it's the white block right on the left, so the top and the bottom two on the right on the left. So the top I checked with the probes, and then called for demand on the hot water, and then the bottom. So everything seems fine on the PCB and the ignition, so that confirmed it's a gas valve issue. So the gas valve is sticking. So now we will source a part and attempt to replace the gas valve. Whilst I was on the phone to the manufacturer, I gave him the VUV number of the Vaillant boiler, and they managed to give me the GC number. Unfortunately, on my boiler, it seems the GC number has been rubbed out. So I got the manufacturer to confirm what the GC number is. That's the gas council number, and these are the details for this specific boiler. So we have the GC number, the VUV number of the boiler, so that's the model more or less, and then they also gave me the gas valve part number. So this is basically when you go to immersion, this is the part number you can give to them for them to do the search and check if it's in stock, and yeah, provide you with the replacement part. I've now been to City Plumbing and I've ordered the part. Luckily they did have one on stock, and that is the price for the part and the gas valve, so £135.60. Also checked it online and it aligns with the price that the merchant gave me, so great. And there we have it, the original part from the manufacturer, which comes with instructions on the gas valve. We have the gas valve itself, a gasket and some washers and a screw. That's my gas safe card. So let's replace the part. As you can see, it is exactly the same part if you compare both. So let's now replace the part. Firstly, we'll start by removing all the electrical cables relating to taking the fan and the gas valve out. So it's good that I'm actually recording it, so I remember which way they plug in and where they go. So that's fan. As you can see, we've removed all the plugs into the valve and the fan. I've just tucked it in at the top here, and now we'll attempt to disconnect this nut here and the nut at the bottom here. So get yourself an adjustable spanner in between and slowly unscrew. Now unscrewed, the washers may be slightly stuck to the valve, so just take them both off. They got some new ones in the box, so you can replace them both. Get a good picture on that. Next, to take this gas valve out, I'll remove the intake pipe, and then I want to remove these 3 screws, and so I can remove the valve with the fan. This is the intake pipe that we want to remove off the gas valve, so all we need to do is get grasp at the connection and tug and pull it out. Also, I'm currently taking these screws out. As you can see, it's a star head shape, not your standard screw head. So either you need a T20 Torx screwdriver, or what I'm using is I have a screwdriver already with the Torx head. So let's take these 3 screws out. Onto my last screw. Make sure you support the bottom, as we'll be taking the whole component out with the fan. So there we go. So we have our gas valve and our fan. To take this gas valve out, as you can see, there's only one screw that is holding it secure to this bracket, so I will unscrew this screw. This screw head is again different to the 3 screws that we've taken off here. Slightly smaller. Take this out. There we go. Make sure you don't lose the screws, keep them all to one side. Just lift this and slide the gas valve out. There we have it, the new gas valve. Let's put it into the caddy, put the screw on and get it back into its place. So firstly, take the cap. It's been put on by the manufacturer. Make sure you have it in the right way. A good reference point is wherever your screws are going to be meeting, where you're securing the bracket to the valve. That is a great reference point, so you know you've got it the right way around. Go, tuck that in, and put the screw back in. Right, let's screw this back in. The valve is nicely secured to the bracket. Also note, the manufacturer also provides you with a replacement gasket. Assess the condition of it. If you feel that it's fine, then perhaps leave it. In this instance, I'll probably end up changing it. So I'll remove that and replace it with this one. What I do is tuck this in and press it down. So make sure it's all flush and level. I'll tuck the component back in. Get the inlet valve, intake back in for a bit of support. So make sure everything is aligned and start to put in the screws. Again, get the bigger head screw in, different star head. Screw all 3 screws back in. don't tighten them fully, and then when you get to the end, tighten all three. Now we have the valve and the fan assembly nicely secured to the combustion chamber. Next steps are we have 2 fiber washers. As if you can remember earlier in the video, we removed these fiber washers so they had to come with the part. So next step is to reconnect these 2 connections with the washers. Slide this across, this one back in, make sure it's properly aligned. You don't want to be cross-threading or damaging the washer. There we have it. So I have them both hand tight now, and the final tightness with adjustable spanner. Remember, you don't want to over tighten these. Obviously it is gas flowing through this, so it's very low pressure, but yeah, just a little hand tight with a nudge with the adjustable spanner will suffice. Once we have these tightly secured, the last step is to place all the cables back into the components for them to provide the electrical signals when called for demand. So yellow goes inside yellow, the black plug inside. Just make sure they're nicely secured. Reconnect our fan back in. So make sure it's the right way around. That's nicely secure. And at the top. Last one back in. There we have it. All plugs are nicely secure. And double check for the loose connections. Obviously we've already tightened these with the adjustable spanner. Now we shall attempt to fire up the boiler. We've isolated the boiler from the fuse spur, so we'll turn the fuse spur back on. Push this back in, turn the power on, turn the power back on the boiler. It's still showing with fault. Reset the boiler. Let's test this, put the water on. Hot water is on. We'll hear a combustion sound. I can hear the ignition. Gas is burning, combustion is on. When this is flashing, we know the hot water is working sufficiently. Excellent, so that's resolved the issue. Now we have really hot water. Great. To confirm, the hot water is still working a treat. I've been using it throughout the day. And as you can see, it's still in use, running fine. So for the part number, here's the part number again. So if you do have an issue where it's an F.28 fault, it could potentially be the ignition probe, the gas valve, but you've got to do the right correct checks, or it could be the PCB, but in this instance it was the gas valve. And the part number is just there, 00201483882. If you want the gas council number, there's all the detail for you. So for more further content on tricks that you can do yourself at home without actually paying anyone to do it, and if you're looking to enhance your skills in DIY, please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below on your thoughts. And look out for the next video that I may be uploading on my next DIY activity. Thanks all for watching. See you on the next one on Rick's Tricks. Goodbye.